Have you ever noticed how easily some older folks lose their temper? Maybe it's your grandpa in the garage, mumbling under his breath when a tool slips, or that fiery neighbor who yells when the kids get too loud. We all know someone over 70 with a spark that flares into anger faster than we expect. At first, it's easy to laugh it off. Just grumpy old age, right? But what if that temper wasn't so harmless? What if, beneath those small bursts of irritation, lies something much more dangerous, like a silent fuse burning down toward a hidden explosion? We love to picture aging as peaceful, calm seniors sipping tea on the porch, sharing wisdom and smiles. And yes, sometimes that's true. But aging can also bring frustration, stiff joints, fading strength, a world that feels too fast and too loud. When those pressures pile up, they can ignite real fury. For some over 70, that anger doesn't fade quietly. It boils over. And the truth is, uncontrolled rage at that age isn't just a bad mood. It can become a real threat to their health. It's a hidden danger few people recognize. Uncontrolled anger isn't just about hurt pride or short tempers. It's a powerful force that sends blood pressure soaring, forces the heart to strain, and unleashes a chain reaction that can silently steal years of life. Most seniors don't realize how damaging that fiery burst of rage can be. Many think it's normal to vent, just part of who they are. But in truth, that kind of anger acts like a silent killer, one that often goes unnoticed until it's too late. So let's ask an honest question. What if learning to control their rage could literally save lives? What if it's not just about peace of mind, but about staying alive and healthy for years longer? There are 7 shocking secrets, hidden truths about anger and aging, that could completely change the way we understand emotional health in older adults. These are insights that seniors, their loved ones, and even doctors need to know before that ticking time bomb inside the body explodes. Number 1. The heart attack connection. Did you know that a sudden burst of anger can trigger a real heart attack? It's not a Hollywood exaggeration. It's a medically proven reality that can turn one moment of fury into a life-threatening event. When anger strikes, the body reacts as if it's under attack. In an instant, adrenaline surges through the system, forcing the cardiovascular network into overdrive. Heart rate shoots up, blood pressure spikes, and blood vessels tighten, placing tremendous strain on the heart. For an aging heart, already weakened by time or conditions like high cholesterol and hypertension, this sudden shock can be too much. Research shows a sharp rise in heart attack risk within just 2 hours after an angry outburst. One study in the European Heart Journal revealed that the chance of a heart attack nearly doubles in that 2-hour window following intense emotional distress, with anger standing out as a key trigger. Another study from the American Heart Association found that for people with existing heart disease, the risk can rise 5-fold. The reason is clear. Adrenaline overload can destabilize the fatty plaques along artery walls. When one of these plaques ruptures, it can form a clot that blocks blood flow and deprives the heart of oxygen. That's how anger turns deadly. And it's not just a concern for seniors. Even younger, seemingly healthy individuals who let rage take control can slowly damage their cardiovascular health over time. Imagine the heart pounding furiously under the weight of anger, becoming a pressure cooker ready to explode. For those with weakened hearts, that single burst of anger could be the final straw. So the next time you feel fury rising, pause for a moment. Those few seconds of shouting might cost far more than you realize. Now let's talk about the second danger, the stroke risk. Rage, a powerful and often uncontrollable emotion, doesn't just cloud the mind. It can have severe physical effects, dramatically raising the risk of stroke. When anger takes over, it triggers a wave of bodily reactions that push the cardiovascular system to its limits. The most alarming outcome? A sudden spike in blood pressure strong enough to rupture blood vessels in the brain. Such a rupture can cause a hemorrhagic stroke, a life-threatening event that may lead to paralysis, loss of speech, or even death. The science behind it is clear. The connection between rage and stroke begins with the body's natural fight-or-flight response, an ancient mechanism meant to protect us from danger. When anger hits, the brain treats it like a real threat, activating the amygdala, the emotional control center, which signals the HPA axis. This chain reaction floods the bloodstream with stress hormones like adrenaline, epinephrine, and cortisol. These chemicals speed up the heart, tighten blood vessels, and send blood pressure soaring, a dangerous recipe for anyone, especially seniors. All these stress reactions are helpful in short-term survival, but when they become intense or long-lasting, they turn dangerous. As adrenaline floods the body, blood vessels tighten, forcing the heart to work harder to push blood through. This sudden surge in pressure, known as hypertension, puts enormous strain on the fragile walls of the arteries, especially those in the brain. Over time, or during a moment of uncontrolled rage, these vessel walls can weaken, developing tiny tears or even rupturing completely. Inside the brain, where vessels are tightly woven in a delicate network, a rupture leads to bleeding that cuts off oxygen to brain tissue. Within minutes, brain cells begin to die, resulting in a stroke. Chronic anger only makes matters worse. It fuels inflammation and encourages fatty buildup along artery walls, narrowing blood flow and increasing the risk of blockage or rupture. Even one explosive episode of rage can overwhelm the system, pushing it past its limit. The consequences can be devastating. A hemorrhagic stroke may cause brain swelling, lasting neurological damage, or death if not treated right away. In essence, the body's fight-or-flight response, designed to protect us, becomes a double-edged sword, one that, when driven by unchecked anger, can destroy the very blood vessels meant to keep us alive. Managing anger isn't just about emotional well-being, it's essential for protecting physical health, especially the brain. Now let's move to the third danger, the immune system breakdown. Chronic anger doesn't just affect your mood, it weakens your body's defense system in ways many seniors don't realize. Over time, persistent anger triggers an excess release of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. While these hormones are helpful in short bursts to handle immediate stress, when they stay elevated too long, they begin to harm the body instead of helping it. This chemical imbalance suppresses the immune system's natural ability to fight infection. It reduces the production of white blood cells and antibodies, the very soldiers your body depends on to battle viruses and bacteria. For seniors whose immune systems are already weakened by age, a condition called immunosenescence, this effect can be devastating. It leaves them far more vulnerable to infections, slower healing, and illnesses that once seemed minor but can now pose serious risks. For instance, seniors who live with chronic anger often find themselves more vulnerable to common infections like the seasonal flu. These illnesses can last longer or lead to complications because of a weakened immune response. They may also face a higher risk of serious respiratory diseases such as pneumonia, an especially dangerous threat for older adults with fragile health. Even minor issues like colds or urinary tract infections can become more frequent and harder to recover from. And beyond infections, the constant inflammation caused by ongoing anger and stress can worsen existing conditions like arthritis or heart disease, further straining the body and trapping it in a cycle of declining health. In simple terms, persistent anger works like a slow leak in the body's defense system, leaving seniors exposed to dangers their immune system can no longer fight effectively. Now, let's look at the fourth danger: cognitive decline. Uncontrolled anger doesn't just strain relationships, it can actually damage the brain. Studies reveal that frequent intense anger can speed up memory loss, reduce focus, and impair problem-solving skills. Over time, this emotional pressure may even heighten the risk of developing dementia. The reason lies within the body's response to repeated anger. Each episode releases a surge of stress chemicals that, when constant, wear down the brain's delicate structure. What should be a temporary emotion turns into a silent force, eroding mental sharpness and long-term cognitive health. Unchecked anger acts like a constant stressor on the body, And it's this ongoing stress that slowly damages brain cells, weakening their ability to function and repair themselves. At the center of this process lies cortisol, often called the stress hormone. When anger triggers the body's fight or flight response, the adrenal glands release cortisol into the bloodstream. In small doses, cortisol can be useful. It sharpens focus and helps the body respond to immediate challenges. But when anger becomes frequent, cortisol levels stay high for too long, and that's when the harm begins. One of cortisol's main targets is the hippocampus, the seahorse-shaped region of the brain responsible for memory. Elevated cortisol disrupts the hippocampus's ability to create and maintain new neurons, a process known as neuroplasticity. Over time, this interference causes the hippocampus to shrink, leading not only to memory lapses but also to difficulty forming new memories. This gradual decline in cognitive function shows how chronic anger doesn't just affect emotions, it physically alters the brain, undermining both memory and mental clarity as the years go by. Research shows that this cortisol-driven damage can also accelerate the buildup of proteins, such as amyloid plaques and tau tangles, known markers of Alzheimer's disease. This further connects chronic anger to an increased risk of dementia. Simply put, the longer the brain is soaked in cortisol caused by uncontrolled anger, the more vulnerable it becomes to long-term decline. Now, let's move to the fifth danger, the fall risk. Anger isn't just an emotion. It's a force that affects both the mind and the body, often in ways people don't realize. When anger takes over, it clouds judgment, making it harder to think clearly or act safely. This mental fog can lead to impulsive behavior, like storming across a room or moving too quickly, without noticing potential hazards. For older adults, whose reaction time and coordination naturally slow with age, that split-second lapse in awareness can be dangerous. A cluttered floor, an uneven rug, or a misplaced object can easily turn into a fall risk. Physically, anger also sparks a rush of adrenaline that speeds up the heart, tightens muscles, and heightens alertness. While this reaction prepares the body for action, it can also bring side effects such as dizziness or lightheadedness, exactly the kind of instability that increases the chance of falling. For seniors whose balance may already be fragile due to issues like weakened muscles, low blood pressure, or reduced inner ear function, an adrenaline surge can make things worse. The mix of emotional agitation and physical instability creates the perfect storm, a distracted mind inside a body that's momentarily off balance. In those moments, even a small misstep over a rug or an uneven surface can lead to a serious fall. Injuries such as fractures, head trauma, or even a permanent loss of independence can follow. This heightened risk reminds us how vital emotional control is, especially in later life, when physical safety becomes more fragile. What feels manageable when calm can quickly turn dangerous when anger clouds judgment. A steady step can turn into a stumble, and a moment of rage can have lifelong consequences. Now, let's talk about the sixth danger, social isolation. Persistent anger doesn't just affect the body, it also damages relationships. When someone stays angry too often, it sends waves through their family and social circle. Loved ones may start feeling attacked, misunderstood, or emotionally exhausted. In time, they may pull away to protect themselves, leaving the angry person feeling increasingly alone. This kind of withdrawal isn't always dramatic. It often happens quietly. A friend stops calling, a partner grows distant, or a sibling visits less often. Gradually, meaningful connections fade away, leaving the person with fewer supportive relationships. And that quiet distance turns into something much heavier: social isolation. This isolation isn't just unpleasant. It carries deep emotional and physical consequences. Without regular social interaction, loneliness begins to settle in. Humans are social by nature. We depend on connection, validation, and shared moments to stay emotionally balanced. When those are taken away, loneliness spreads like a heavy fog, often leading to depression. Without emotional support, coping with life's challenges becomes harder, and the cycle deepens. Anger leads to isolation. Isolation breeds loneliness. Loneliness fuels depression, and together, they quietly erode overall health. But loneliness isn't merely a feeling. It's a biological condition that affects both the mind and the body. Research shows that chronic loneliness acts like a stressor, triggering harmful physical and psychological reactions. Let's begin with mental health decline. Loneliness is a major risk factor for depression and anxiety. When someone feels disconnected, negative thoughts begin to echo. No one cares about me. I'm not worth anyone's time. Over time, these thoughts can spiral into depression. Studies have found that lonely individuals have higher levels of cortisol, the same stress hormone linked to anger, which can disrupt mood regulation and heighten anxiety. In its most severe form, loneliness can lead to thoughts of hopelessness and, in some cases, suicidal ideation. Without meaningful social bonds, people begin to feel trapped, unseen, and without purpose. Next comes the weakened immune system. The body doesn't simply ignore loneliness, it reacts as if it's under attack. Chronic loneliness sparks inflammation, pushing the immune system into overdrive. While inflammation helps fight short-term infections, when it continues for too long, it begins to harm healthy tissues and suppress the body's natural defenses. Research shows that lonely individuals are more likely to suffer from frequent colds, infections, and slower wound healing due to their weakened immunity. Then there's cardiovascular strain. Loneliness puts direct stress on the heart. Elevated cortisol levels, the same stress hormone triggered by anger, raise blood pressure and heart rate, straining the cardiovascular system. Over time, this constant pressure contributes to hypertension, hardened arteries, and a greater risk of heart attack or stroke. In fact, a major study by the American Heart Association found that social isolation and loneliness increase the risk of heart disease by 29% and stroke by 32%. Finally, there's the impact on sleep. Many lonely individuals struggle to rest properly. The absence of social security, the feeling of being safe and connected, keeps the brain on alert, almost as if it's scanning for danger even during sleep. The result is restless nights, light sleep, and a body that never fully recharges. This lack of connection often leads to poor quality sleep, fragmented rest, insomnia, or difficulty staying asleep. Since sleep is essential for both physical repair and mental clarity, this disruption worsens other health problems, such as weakened immunity, fatigue, and emotional instability. Next is cognitive decline. When social engagement fades, the brain begins to suffer. Loneliness has been closely linked to faster mental deterioration in older adults, raising the risk of Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia. Without regular conversation, problem-solving, or emotional interaction, neural pathways weaken. It's as if the brain, deprived of stimulation, slowly starts to shut down. Then come unhealthy coping habits. To fill the emptiness, many lonely individuals turn to overeating, smoking, excessive drinking, or inactivity. These habits may bring momentary comfort, but cause long-term harm, leading to obesity, liver damage, or chronic illnesses like diabetes. Sadly, such behaviors often deepen isolation even further, as shame or declining health makes reconnecting harder. Finally, there's the most sobering truth: a shortened lifespan. Research shows that loneliness can be just as deadly as smoking or obesity. A large meta-analysis involving millions of people found that social isolation and loneliness raise the risk of early death by as much as 26 to 30%. It's not always one single disease that ends life early, but rather the gradual wear and tear, known as allostatic load, that slowly breaks the body down over time. So, connecting it back to the bigger picture, constant anger doesn't just drive people away. It sets off a chain reaction inside the body. The isolation and loneliness that follow don't simply make someone sad, they quietly erode every system within. Depression may be the most visible sign, but beneath the surface, the heart, brain, and immune system are all suffering. Breaking this destructive cycle begins with understanding anger itself, rebuilding social connections, and realizing that both mental and physical health depend greatly on the quality of our relationships. Now, let's look at the final consequence: a shortened lifespan. The combined impact of uncontrolled anger and ongoing stress can dramatically reduce life expectancy, especially for seniors. When anger goes unchecked, it doesn't just disrupt peace of mind. It triggers a chain of physiological reactions that slowly wear the body down. Chronic anger raises stress hormones like cortisol, spikes blood pressure, and overworks the heart, greatly increasing the risk of heart disease, stroke, and other life-threatening conditions. On top of that, persistent anger deepens anxiety and depression, draining emotional strength and diminishing vitality as the years go by. Controlling anger isn't just about improving daily life, it's also about extending it. Managing emotional responses can dramatically reduce health risks, helping seniors live longer while maintaining strength and independence. In summary, anger acts like both a silent agitator and a fast-burning fuel for age-related decline. It quietly damages physical health, strains relationships, and drains mental energy. By learning to manage anger, seniors can break this destructive cycle, protecting both body and mind for a longer, healthier future. The stakes couldn't be higher. Mastering emotional control isn't optional. It's a cornerstone of healthy aging. Now, let's discuss real solutions. Fortunately, there are practical strategies that can help seniors manage anger effectively. Each one offers distinct benefits for both emotional balance and physical well-being. These approaches are simple, accessible, and adaptable to any lifestyle, empowering older adults to regain control over their emotional health. One of the most powerful tools is mindfulness and meditation. This practice helps calm the nervous system, reduce stress hormones, and bring awareness to emotional triggers before they spiral out of control. These techniques focus on building awareness and calm in the present moment, breaking the cycle of rising frustration before it takes control. Simple breathing exercises, like inhaling deeply for 4 seconds, holding for 4, and exhaling for 6, can quickly slow the heart rate and relax an overstimulated nervous system. Meditation, even for just 10 minutes a day, trains the mind to notice thoughts without reacting to them. It creates a small but powerful pause between a trigger and an angry response. For seniors, this approach is especially valuable because it requires no special tools and can be done anywhere, from a quiet chair at home to a peaceful spot in the park. Then there's regular exercise, one of the most effective natural remedies for anger. Physical activity releases endorphins, the brain's own mood-boosting and stress-relieving chemicals. For older adults, this doesn't mean intense workouts. Gentle movements like walking, swimming, or chair yoga can make a real difference. Even a 30-minute stroll through the neighborhood can burn off tension, refresh the mind, and restore perspective. Regular movement not only strengthens the body and improves circulation, but also fosters a sense of accomplishment, helping to create a more balanced emotional state over time. Humans are naturally social beings, and maintaining close relationships with family, friends, or community groups acts as a powerful shield against anger. For seniors, isolation often magnifies irritability, making connection not just beneficial, but essential. Whether it's a weekly call with a grandchild, coffee with a friend, or joining a local club, these moments offer emotional support, a sense of belonging, and a healthy outlet for frustration. Even something as simple as sharing a laugh or telling a story can ease tension in ways solitude never can. It reminds older adults that they're not alone in facing life's challenges. At times, though, anger runs deeper than everyday irritation. It can stem from old wounds or unresolved emotions that require professional guidance. In such cases, seeking help through therapy, especially cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, can be life-changing. CBT helps identify harmful thought patterns like, everything always goes wrong, and replaces them with constructive perspectives such as, I can handle this one step at a time. With guidance from a trained therapist, seniors can learn strategies tailored to their unique triggers, building emotional resilience and preventing future outbursts. Finally, emotional balance begins with two essentials: a healthy diet and quality sleep. Proper nutrition and rest are the foundation of mood stability. A balanced diet rich in whole foods, fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats helps regulate blood sugar and support brain function, reducing the mood swings that often fuel anger. Nutrients like omega-3 fatty acids, found in fish and walnuts, have been linked to improved emotional well-being. Sleep, much like nutrition, is a non-negotiable foundation for mental health. Seniors who enjoy 7 to 9 hours of restful sleep each night are far better equipped to handle life's stressors without losing control. Lack of sleep amplifies irritability and weakens judgment, often making anger harder to manage. Establishing a calming bedtime routine, such as reading, gentle stretching, or listening to soft music, can greatly improve sleep quality and emotional stability. Equally important are hobbies and meaningful activities. Engaging in creative or purposeful work offers a healthy outlet for energy and emotion, transforming frustration into fulfillment. Whether it's gardening, painting, playing music, or volunteering, these activities create joy and purpose that leave little room for anger to grow. Take gardening, for example. Tending to a small herb patch keeps the hands busy, calms the mind, and offers tangible rewards. A sprig of basil or mint becomes a quiet triumph. Pursuing interests that reflect past passions can reignite joy and restore inner balance, helping seniors live with more peace and positivity. Today, we've explored how unmanaged anger silently harms the heart, the brain, and even lifespan, and how simple, consistent habits can protect both mind and body. The truth is, it's never too late to regain control, to heal, and to live with calm strength. I wish you good health, lasting happiness, and a peaceful heart. And remember, stay connected, stay mindful, and take good care of yourself. Wishing you well-being, joy, and serenity always. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Healthy Aging Blueprint, for more practical tips on living longer and living better.